So this stock, broke through the 200-day moving average. This stock brought in volume. This stock brought in the mob and really just took on off as a higher and higher it got, the more volume and the more attention that moved in on this play. So APOP, awesome rip, awesome climb all the way up towards around that 825 mark. Did come on down, bounced off $6 for a little while, fell underneath $6, and now is holding on up. So currently, is this the number one best play? Yes, it is. The stock is up 173% with good volume, and this will be one 100% traders are going to be watching at the bell. Right at the bell, 100% traders going to be focused on this play. Traders going to be watching this play, and you are going to want to see if we're going to be able to continue to move on up with this play. So, what could happen? Well, what I would think is going to happen is either, it's pretty obvious, either it's going to, spike or drop. My biggest fear would be what? My biggest fear would be it turns into something like SAEX. And what do I mean by SAEX is where the stock went from 150, gapped up to 40, and just came into a big time drop, right? We've seen that happen a lot on plays where the stock gaps up way too high, can't hold its gains, and then it comes back on down. If I had to be completely honest with you, what do I think APOP is going to do? I think APOP is going to spike at the bell and then come on down. So I do think at the bell you are going to see a quick little morning rip that could be up towards around $7.25 or even $8, and then I think it's going to come back down because of how high it's already is. Now that doesn't mean it's going to dump. You could definitely maybe look for a bounce play. You could definitely look for a red to green move, anything along these lines. But APOP right here is up pretty high, and it was pushing almost 300% when it was all the way at its highs, upwards around 825. So this one has all the components for, of course, a breakout, which it already had. The only thing that kind of gets me a little nervous is either A, how big the stock is already up with 167%. It could be a little bit overbought already. And then number two is the press release isn't that strong. If momentum shifts to selling, the stock could possibly drop rather hard. So again, those are kind of the big things on APOP that kind of keep me a little cautious on it. But is it profitable? Absolutely. What else is going on at this time? Well, we do have ADXS. ADXS, this stock is the number 2 top gainer. 49 million float, which is a little bit bigger than what we want, to be honest. But this stock is still, a good mover. It had FDA clearance on its treatment of prostate cancer. Now, again, not really the biggest press release in the world when we think about it. This is FDA clearance. Now, when we look at our keywords to look for in hot press releases, what do we know? We have our keywords to look for in hot press releases right here. And we could say we have FDA, and what's kind of a synonym for clearance? Approval. Basically, the FDA is allowing us to do what? To work on our, the FDA is allowing us to work on our treatment of prostate cancer, or basically begin it, right? So now, what we always want to look for 3-star words is we do have treatment, right, and cancer. And this may make you want to jump in right away. But usually when we have our 3-star words of treatment and cancer, what are we more focused on? We're more focused on treatment results for cancer, right? This is basically, again, we have to read it, FDA clearance for our treatment of cancer. Usually, again, when we mean our 3-star words of treatment of cancer, it's usually, hey, we have positive results on our treatment for cancer. This one is we have FDA allowance, right, for our treatment for cancer. So it's a little bit different. But, is it a good press release? It's solid. It's a solid press release for sure. What's the big area we need to break through, right? We do have this beautiful squeeze pattern. Beautiful squeeze pattern. What do we need to break through? 158. 158 is the 200-day moving average. Break of 158 is where the stock could go on a nice spike, where the stock could go on a nice move, and where the stock could go on a nice run. So ADXS, I definitely want to be watching this play. Break of that 158 mark, we could see a nice move, we could see a nice rip, and we could see a nice run on it. All right, so ADXS, definitely a stock that has a lot of potential. And if you guys have not seen, I have been posting this list a good amount. We came up with all of it yesterday, but every single stock here, right there, guys, is a stock that has a great chart pattern squeeze setup. So if you want to look at the live stream real quick, what do we have here? We have TEUM. This stock actually just had the squeeze yesterday, right? The 13 EMA down low, 50-day moving average up top, starting to squeeze right here, trying to get a little bit of activity, right? TBLT, little bit of a squeeze, small little gap up, stock trying to, get a little bit of attention towards that. ADXS, right? 49 million float, trying to get a little bit of a squeeze right here. YTEN, 9 million in float, getting a little bit of a squeeze right here. And all these stocks have great squeeze potentials. The lowest float stock we have on that play is AMRH. AMRH is 2 million in float, and that has the 13 EMA 50-day moving average squeeze. So all of these stocks do have beautiful squeezes. Make sure you guys write that down or just stick it in your notepad up above, and you guys are going to have that nice and saved for you guys, so you guys are all good. So what are we looking at? APOP, we want to watch. ADXS, we want to watch. We also had TNXP this morning, and this stock isn't doing too much. It does have a nice little squeeze pattern that's also on the list, but this has a little squeeze pattern. But TNXP, the press release wasn't really that good, and I know I'm saying that about a good amount of press releases right here, but it's true. It's not, none of these press releases are bringing in too much hype and potential. Like TNXP, it presents Biotech Showcase at 2020, where on Tuesday, January 14th, it's going to be having a showcase. What's a showcase? You walk into those big open basically like festivals of business and technology, and there's people there with booths, and you can walk up to the booth and you can be like, hey, you know what, what's this booth about, and you learn a little bit more about it. It's kind of like that, where they have a booth set up, but also they're going to be doing a presentation. So that's, again, is that talking about drug results? Is that talking about revenues? Is that talking about anything crazy? Not really. But why did people buy that this morning? Because it's only 716,000 in float. As I already said, we had yesterday LIFE spike, which is about 2 million in float. We had CTIB spike, which is 1 million in float. We had TNXP become the #1 top gainer this morning before it dropped off, under 1 million in float. And we had APOP go on a very big spike this morning, which is 1 million in float. If I had to be just straight, blunt, and honest with you, most likely the best top gainer today is going to be a stock probably under 3 million in float, right? That's probably going to happen. So, am I looking at stocks such as APOP, TNXP, CANF, WORX, HEPA, and DPW? Absolutely. Because I'm just following the current trend. I'm just following what people like. Sometimes people like Chinese plays. Sometimes people like stocks underneath $1. Sometimes we're seeing stocks spike at 10 o'clock. Sometimes we're seeing the mid caps, go on nice big spikes. But the last, 4 big time spikes were all underneath 2 million in float. So that's kind of what I'm sticking with today, right? So TNXP, I want to keep it on my back burner. CANF. CANF. Do I want to look at this play? I do. I mean, CANF has a pretty big squeeze as well. I mean, this is a pretty big squeeze pattern behind it, where we have this 200-day moving average coming across the board, coming from left field right here, where this play just coming all the way on top and then really sitting where? Right at 394. So 394 is the 200-day moving average. This stock obviously has the 50-day and the 13 EMA swooping up underneath it. Now, if this stock can break $4, we could possibly see this run to $5, and it could pick up quickly. CANF is only 1 million in float. Now, what's the reason? What's the press release behind this? CANF, if we look at this, CANF at 820, data from phase 2 cancer will be presented at this conference. So this is not, again, positive data. This is not, this is our treatments right here. It's saying that they're going to present data at this conference. So, could this stock catch fire today? Yes, it could. Could this stock move up in a very strong manner today and become the best play of the day? Yes, it could. But it's probably not going to be from that press release. It's probably just from, if it breaks the 200-day moving average, runs up to $5, breaks $5, and everyone just goes crazy saying this is going to be the best play. Everyone's buying, 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 and it just kind of turns into one of those plays, right? So, we have been seeing that a lot. I would not be surprised if CANF does that, and if CANF starts taking on off, because it all of a sudden catches that fire. Because that's kind of how plays are being right now. Very trendy at the moment. Everyone's on APOP, everyone's off of APOP. Everyone's on CTIB, everyone's off of CTIB, right? So not really too much there. WORX, not really too much I'm seeing right here. Let's just check it out real quick. WRX expands customer base with new contract. All right. So we do have a new contract on a WORX, which is solid. It doesn't really have any volume towards it, but at least this is actually like a solid press release, 3 million in float. today announced a further expansion of customer-based prestigious hospital system in Northeast of a 5-year minimum $1 million contract for its proprietary ScanWorks, the company's service offering. The agreement represents an increased market validation in the company's ScanWorks application. Okay, not bad. WRX, not bad. So I mean, even though it doesn't have too much volume towards it, let's check out the chart. You know, it is a newer play that opened up back last February, about 11 months ago. WRX, I think that could be one. I think that one could definitely, bring in a little bit of volume. I think that one could bring in a little bit of hype towards it. WRX, if that starts popping up on the high of the day momentum scanner. So right now, I'm just trying to, in my head right now, I'm trying to figure out what's going to be the best play. Is it going to be APOP? I think APOP is going to spike at the bell, but ultimately, I do think it's going to drop. CANF is starting to get a little heat right now. That one could definitely catch fire. CNXP, I don't think this is going to happen. And WRX, I do think this is going to have, some nice potential towards it. We have all those plays with all squeeze setups, which are nice. Is there anything else that I want to be looking at? Little side note, I did find a play yesterday that I thought had some nice potential. I know some of you guys may like it. LMPX, right? LMPX, everyone take a look at this. Iggy, Rapid, take a look at this as well. I know you guys crushed it the first time around. What do we got right now? LMPX had about a $6 move yesterday. It may try to start U-shaping soon. So put that on your watch list, guys, especially if you guys are on those mid-cap plays. Here's a new IPO stock that is maybe looking for a U shape and a rebreak of $30. If LMPX could ever rebreak $30 today, this thing could start going on a nice big rip and run, right? We played this stock a while ago, about two and a half, probably about a month ago, and the stock went from $4 all the way up to $43, right? LMPX, watch for a U shape pattern and for a $30 break, and that one could definitely go on a nice big rip and run, nice big tear. Obviously, we always want to write down the previous top gainers of yesterday. I did type these out for you guys, of course, right here, as these could easily get some hype and momentum. But if you're saying, again, Deck, what stocks are you focusing on? What stocks are you looking at? This is my game plan. Everybody listen up. I am going to be watching at the bell APOP. So APOP, that's going to be the stock. I just want to see what's going to happen at the bell. Next up in line, I'm going to be watching CANF. Next up in line, I'm going to be watching WORX. So those are kind of my 1, 2, 3. After that, I'm going to be watching Monday's top gainers to see if they pop up on anything. And then finally, I'm going to be watching the high of the day momentum scanner to see what stocks start getting the biggest volume, the biggest rips, and the biggest runs. Okay? But let's see what you guys are thinking. Okay, so let's see what you guys are thinking. We could set this up right here and we could say, what stock will do the best today? So what stock's going to do the best today? And is that going to be APOP? Is that going to be CANF? Is that going to be WORX? Is that going to be a previous top gainer from yesterday? Right? Could that be it? Is it going to be, let's say, I'm just trying to think of any other like play that we have. ADXS, right? ADXS, the number 2 top gainer, right? Or do you think it's just going to be something random that we haven't even talked about, and that'd be other. All right. So everyone, go ahead, look at the live stream, go ahead, cast your vote. So everybody, go vote. Let's see what everyone's thinking right here. All right. Let's see what everyone's thinking. All right. So I'm just setting everything up. And let's see, again, everyone cast your vote if you guys have not yet. Put up our new scanners for the day. There we go. Beautiful. Let's see where everyone's focusing. All right, cast your vote if you guys have not. In five, four, three, two, and one. Share the results. Stop the poll. Woo! A little spread out here, but we do have our clear-cut winner. You guys are saying APOP deck. That's going to be the best one of the day. All right. Well, we will see. We will see. I'm switching over to a 2-minute time frame right now. Market opens up in about a minute and a half. I'm going to also take a quick little screenshot for here so you guys can check this good stuff out as always and have this saved. I mean, you guys already have it saved in your email. Everyone should have this morning newsletter. I just like to post this, of course, for you guys. So, very exciting day. Rapid, Iggy getting after it as well. Always love seeing them, and we're going to have an awesome time. Market opens up, guys, in 30 seconds. I'm really excited to see where this volume is going to be heading. I'm very excited to see, what's really going to be taking on off because anything can really run today, and we know that. There's a lot of potential in this market. I'm ready to go. Market opens on up here, guys, in 5 seconds. Let's have an awesome day ahead. I'm going to put CANF on the bottom level 2 right now. CANF on the bottom level 2. APOP is at the top. Watch the high of the day momentum scanner to see, where this volume is going to be going. And of course, we will go from there. As you guys know, my top watches are, I'm going APOP, CANF, WORX as kind of my top watches. I think APOP, watch for a quick morning spike and then a possible hard drop. Then CANF, break of $4, and then WORX, we want to see probably a break of 340 or at least 325. So APOP definitely starting with a little bit of the volume, but we're also watching the high of the day momentum scanner to see which one's the first one with a 20 count. APOP, quick pop up towards around the 660 mark. Not that big yet. It does have kind of its last support area down towards around this like 550-ish mark. We definitely wanted to try to hold at least $6 though. Deck, are you in on APOP? Little too quick, a little too early for me. A little too risky right at the bell. So I'm not in on APOP right here at the bell. I'm kind of going through my list. I want to see APOP, CANF, WRX, looking at previous top gainers and the high of the day momentum scanner to see what's really going to be pushing and what's going to be ripping. That's my game plan. That's where I'm at. Right now, just seeing what we have here. Rapid looking for a little bit of a bigger play over at APLS. If you guys are interested on those mid caps, APOP starting to get a little bit more volume right now. So APOP trying to get a little bit more volume. Now we know again a lot of volume is going to stay here right at the start of the day. Has room to run. If APOP breaks through 650, it does have room to run up towards around that 720-ish mark. So if it breaks through 650, it does have again this pink resistance line where up towards around that 720-ish mark. So APOP starting to break right now. Small little break so far. Break of 665, got up towards a high of 678 so far. If you guys are in on APOP right now, stop loss is probably around that 640-ish mark, but maybe scale out as the stock climbs. You just hit a brand new high of 689. So far, so good on it. So again, we broke through 650, what was great. Again, all the way up to 689. Look how quick this can change, though. All the way back down towards around that $6 mark. So this stock changes very quickly. Little heads up, I am not in at this time. So again, here's my order status. These were from pre-market. That's a canceled. These were from pre-market. I was looking for a bounce play, never got filled. So I am not in on anything at this time. As I said, APOP is a little bit early, a little bit risky for me. I'm keeping my eyes on CANF for a possible $4 break and also to see if WRX gets any sort of volume. That's the thing. Yep, exactly, Iggy. It's just a very whippy type of play. APOP will throw you to one side and then whip you back to the other side. So it's a play that if you hop in on it, you got to get in and out very, very quick. It's not an easy one. But I do, again, at the end of the day, I do think APOP is going to be looking along something like SAEX. So even like Chad Nystrom, I know Chad, he loves to short. I do think by the end of the day, APOP is going to be looking like something like SAEX, and that's kind of my big concern on this play. So APOP right here, starting to kind of get that just slightly, and that's why I'm looking, elsewhere to see maybe if CNF can come on up or what low float stock is going to be coming on up. Any sort of shorts, definitely, hop in. I don't know if Chad's in chat right now, but Chad's a huge shorter. I know Iggy enjoys shorting as well. So I'm just looking around right now, and we know there's volume in the market. We know there's action in the market. I mean, we already saw APOP go on a $5 spike. People are eager to trade. People are here to trade. People are eager to trade. And I think the next spike that comes up on the high of the day momentum scanner is going to be the play that a lot of traders are going to get involved with. So I think the next spike that hops up on the high of the day momentum scanner is probably going to be the play that a lot of traders are going to slowly start getting involved with. We got LMPX starting to move up. Jay Sniggle. We got LMPX. Little side note, guys. This was that new IPO. It's going to have $30 resistance, a little bit on the bigger side, but this is starting to make that U-shaped pattern, starting to work its way on up. Also starting to work its way on up is a little bit of CANF, trying to get back up towards around $4. And we also, for the first time, have a little bit of orders over on WORX. WRX doesn't really have too much hype right now, but if this stock does start, bringing in some volume, I think this stock could possibly take on off. The reason I'm saying keep your eyes on WRX because it is 3 million in float, and on top of that, it does have a contract that it doesn't seem like anyone really noticed or cared about. So if we look right here, WRX, it does have expands the customer base with new contract. So again, a new contract usually brings in some hype. So I'm just keeping that one on my side level 2 on my other screen, just in case that gets any sort of big time volume. Yep, yesterday's top gainers as well. The big top gainer of yesterday though was what? CTIB. CTIB was the big top gainer of yesterday. It came out with an offering which kind of destroyed the stock a little bit at the end of the day. So we'll see if CTIB can, get that push. It needs to first off get through that 245 mark. Right? If it can get through 245, that's when we'll start seeing some hype. If it can break through 260, that's when we're going to start seeing a lot better potential and we can start seeing a lot better volume. So CTIB, this was the best top gainer of yesterday. It went from $1 to $4. Awesome rip, awesome run, a lot of hype towards it. Has to break through the 200-day moving average first. We can see APOP having a little bit of trouble right here. Is LMPX still getting some volume? LMPX, again, make sure you guys are watching that, especially you mid-cap players. This was a play that we played last month, and it's starting to make a U-shaped pattern. Starting to make a U-shaped pattern. I just want to put this on the bottom level too for a second. I just want to check out the action. And if we look back at LMPX yesterday, it kind of did what it usually does. It was kind of just creeping its way on up, doing some choppy trades throughout the whole entire morning, right? Doing some choppy trades throughout that whole entire day, just building, 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 right? And LMPX starting to get a little hype. APEX starting to get a little volume right now. LMPX starting to get a little bit more action. You have APEX trying to get a little bit more action. APEX and LMPX both kind of fighting right here. CANF. I'm going to take APOP off. I'm going to put APOP. Oh, I don't know. Hold on. I want to kind of leave it for a moment. Kind of have two stocks starting to move. We got Apex starting to pick up some volume, and then we also have LMPX, guys, which is starting to get hotter. LMPX, which is about to hit its resistance at $30. We know how fast this one can move. It did go from $21 all the way up to $43 in one day. And Apex now, Apex is the one that is kind of grabbing the mob right here. Apex wasn't. Let me see. Did we have any sort of news on Apex whatsoever? December 23rd was the last news. What about filing? December 20th. So we have no news and we have no filing on Apex. But look at this. It's grabbing the mob. It's about to get halted. Apex about to get halted. So this is a tricky one to find right here. No news, no filing, and no gap up. So a little bit of a tricky one right here we have no news, no filing, and we have no gap up at this time. But Apex does have the mob. I know you guys may be saying, Dex, CANF is starting to come to $4, but right now Apex does have the mob, right? Apex does have the attention. And you say, well, can we, buy at the $4 break? Well, let's break it down. If there's 100 people in the stock market, I would probably say 70 of them are now looking at Apex. So that means what? 30 of them are looking at CANF. So that would lead to more of what? Maybe a possible little fake out breakout, right? Because we need all the mob on CNF to go on that big time spike. Right now, Apex just got halted off of, again, no news, no filing, and also no gap up. So there's no way to find this play before the day started. Makes it a little bit tricky. What is kind of obvious about Apex is it's 4 million in float. People are saying, hey, I want to trade, I want to get involved with something. Right? So I just want to type that out. APX. No news, no filing, no gap up. The stock started spiking from 4 million in float. Now, what we did see yesterday, right? We did see CITB get halted how many times? Twice, 3 times yesterday, and ran all the way up about a $4 spike. So right here, I want to put that out here. Stuart, little heads up, you're over in alerts chat. Your main target on Apex is going to be right around 235. This would be the money line. This would be our target. This is that top mark where we would want to be able to get up to. So that is the money line on this stock. And again, the reason I'm saying right here, guys, CANF most likely is not going to be able to break $4 right now. Is if you think about it, as I said, 70 people are probably running to Apex right now. CANF only has 30 people then, right? Not even 30 people because there's probably other, people looking at maybe DFFN or so. So $4 is going to hold up as a really strong resistance line. So when you guys are buying stocks, it's all about finding what stock's the strongest. Because if you can find the strongest play, right, the stock with the most volume and the most activity, that's the one that's going to lead to the best profit for you. How's LMPX doing? LMPX getting held up at $30, but we need to keep AMPX on watch. APOP not there yet. This one may try to make a big U shape up and around. I know probably a lot of you guys are focusing on Apex. Apex, guys, is going to get unhalted at 9:43 and 4 seconds. So that gives us about 2 minutes here. So let's go over some game plans of what we can see on Apex. We're on a 1-minute time frame on Apex, and we see Apex just went from 105 all the way up to 163. We just went on a very big spike right here. Apex is currently up 68%. Now, do we have any sort of strong support? Probably your best support line would be at 150. 150, I could see in the past chart history, right? I could see in the past chart history that is some old resistance, and that's also a new support line, right? A little bounce right here, and also some old resistance. It's also a natural support line. If you are interested on getting an Apex, your dip buy would be right around that 150-ish mark. So if you're interested on getting on Apex, 150 would be your dip buy. If the stock doesn't get that dip buy and starts moving on up, let's say gaps up and doesn't come on down, where's it going to try to spike up to? Probably up towards around that 235-ish mark. Okay? So Apex, we could definitely again look to get after this play. I'm a little nervous of how hard it's gone up, especially on no news or no reasoning, which again does make things a little bit frightening, right? But we'll see if APEX could possibly go on a very nice run here. I would even, if you guys are being rather cautious, just even go a little bit below maybe that 150-ish mark to see if you guys can get filled at a nice area that could kind of make you a little bit more happier. But we're going to get unhalted here on Apex in the next few seconds. We got about 13 seconds left. So Apex, I would probably be looking maybe for even a little bit more of a dip buy, maybe back on down. 150 should be the support line, but it could go even lower. But if you're like, Deck, I'm not missing this play. I'm getting in right as it opens. I mean, if you see a gap up, the stock, the target would be up towards around 235. We are back. Look at this. We are back. Apex up towards 185 right here. Your target would be that 235 mark. It also has old um the support line of 160 is going to be holding up as the hold. So stock gapped up. Now again, looking for what area? 235. 235 is what you want to see on this play for the target. We're kind of having a repeat of yesterday. This is a repeat of yesterday, right? Where we are seeing these plays spike, get halted, spike, get halted, and you start saying to yourself, hey, am I chasing yet? How much higher can the stock go before I'm chasing? Here it comes. Let's see. We got up to 233. 233, guys, is what we just hit. Be careful. Please lock in something for Uncle Deck here. Notice we just came up towards its top resistance line. We just came up towards its top resistance line right there. People are going to start locking in some sort of profit. Okay? People are going to be locking in some sort of profit pretty soon. But notice we came right on up towards that high. That is a perfect area, and that was absolutely great. Shout out to the people who absolutely destroyed that play. And again, perfect target right up towards that 235 mark. I was 2 pennies short. All right? 2 pennies short. Give me a break over here. Okay, so APEX, awesome climb, awesome rip, awesome run so far. And, we were able to see that thing just go on this, great pop. But this is where the volume's at and where the volume can easily stay. Right? We may be able to see a little bit of a 175 bounce play, as well as 175 is right along the bottom of that candle. Right? It did come down towards around that 180-ish mark so far, and we'll see if the stock could possibly hold on up. It's always, again, at these points, always try to get in a lower area. If you guys nailed the run up right up towards that 230 mark, killed it, guys. You guys absolutely destroyed it. Shout out to you guys for nailing that one. You're going to have 2 lines of support here. 2 lines of support. We have around this 175 mark. It's going to be our first line. And then we're going to have back down towards around 165, which would be the second line. 2 lines of support on this play. There you go, Sam. Thanks, man. Was stuck in at the hope, but sold at 225. Nailed it. Awesome work. And does everyone understand how I got or how I saw 235? All I did was look at the past. So all I did was just kind of extend this chart a little bit. Whoop, see the last big spike came up towards that area, and that's usually where the stock will go up to. Let's see if this gets a little bit of a dump, and we can even look for a little bit of a bounce play. All right, the stock gets a little bit of a dump. We can look for a little bit of a bounce play and see if we can make some money over here. So because this is, of course, the main mover at this time. The main mover, the main spiker, the main gist right here. Right now, yesterday, what happened? Let's take a little trip down memory lane for a second. If we go back to CTIB, let's scroll back to yesterday. It's going to take one moment here. But if I go back to CTIB, going down memory lane, this one spiked U-shaped right in the morning. Look what this did. This spiked on up, U-shaped on around, and then went on a very big spike once again. So CTIB may be able to do so, or CTIB could just be kind of a little setup for the same exact thing APEX could do. APEX getting a little bit of a drop right here. It may get halted. Hold on. Let's see what we got here. APEX may have just gotten halted to the sell side. I was hoping we could get a little bit of a U-shaped pattern. We're at our bottom support area. Yeah, I believe we are halted. We're at our bottom support area, and again, it needs to hold this support. Iggy saying just a random pump in your honest opinion. Yeah, I mean, APEX, as we're talking about, traders are here to trade. Traders want to trade. What's the kind of no-nos about APEX? No gap up, no filing, no news, right? No gap up, no filing, no news on this play. It does make it a little scary. Does make it a little scary on this play. IMPX trying to get a little bit of a bounce play after dumping yesterday. IMPX went from $25, guys, and fell all the way down to $7. IMPX is trying to get a little bit of a bounce play today. So you do have an IMPX small little bounce play right now. I think that stock actually just got halted. IMPX just got halted. So IMPX, small little bounce where this one's trying to get a little bit of volume towards it. What we have right here, ULTA. ULTA looking for a nice little rip. So Apex was kind of our first big spike of the morning, right up to that 235 mark, which was great. But this play a little bit along the lines of the pumpy and dumpy side. So we're about 20 minutes in. First play again, very profitable if you were able to nail it. But right now it's not one that is holding up just yet. How's APOP? If APOP could ever start U-shaping on up, this play could start getting some action again. Right? I'm just kind of looking around right here where a lot of this volume is going to be heading. I know IMPX, trying to move on up a little bit. IMPX, this stock does have room to run just because it fell, right? It fell about $13. So traders are trying to get a little dead cat bounce out of it. A little dead cat bounce. That's not a bad play. Good job over there, buddy. Yep, I know, guys. I see that. I know IMPX had a split yesterday. But the thing is, how do reverse stock splits usually work? Right? When you see a reverse stock split, the perfect setup on a reverse stock split is usually what? The stock is doing nothing, doing nothing, doing nothing. It comes out with a reverse stock split. What happens? It drops down a little bit and then it goes on a big time spike, right? So that's usually what happens with a reverse stock split. But what's the weird thing about IMPX? IMPX was already on a big time spike. And then it came out with a reverse stock split when it was up here. So what happened? It dumped on off. And now again, it's just trying to get a little bit of a bounce play back on up. So, it's not the normal setup for a reverse stock split. I know it had a reverse stock split yesterday, but the reason it dumped so hard was because they put a reverse stock split when the stock was at $25. If the reverse stock split happened when it was down here on this green candle, then it could easily spike all the way up to $29 like it did. This right here is more of just along a bounce play, which is understandable. The stock fell $13. It's understandable that stock's going to have a bounce play or more than that, right? So it's still one we want to watch 100%. I think there's a lot of good potential behind that thing. Rapid looking over towards APA. If you guys are looking over there, $31 resistance, break of $31. You can start seeing a little bit of attention. Right now, we are seeing a little bit of volume starting to head over to WORX. I just have that on my level 2 on my other screen. So I'm just watching that just because that was the one. WRX was actually one that had some credibility towards it today. So that was the only reason I was watching that play, just because this one actually had some credibility. Right now, it's trying to get a little bit of volume. We'll keep this on watch. If it can start breaking like 320 or 325, look at WORX starting to get a little bit more hype towards it. Little bit more hype, a little bit more volume towards this, and that's just because the only reason I really like this one, well, Sino APEX is back. The only reason I really like this one is just because it actually had a real reasoning, had a contract, had a new contract behind it. So if WRX starts breaking probably those pre-market highs up towards around 340, that could start picking on up. I'm going to put that on the bottom level too, just in case we start seeing any sort of good action over there. Just in case we start seeing any sort of good action over there, I just want to make sure that we are 100% ready for it. Right now, APEX is unhalted and live. Not doing too much at this time. WRX, probably the buy would be, I would probably say, let's see if it can hold first, and then probably like break of 330-ish. INPX is live. Let's take off APEX. INPX is more live right now. So INPX, see if that can hold up $9. Right now, a little bit of a drop. Ooh, hard drop on IMPX. Back down to 850, just dropped a dollar. A lot of swings today, guys. A lot of kind of what we would call a little whiplash, right? We're seeing a little bit of whiplash. And what's whiplash? Well, imagine leaning, everyone lean really forward in your chair, right? And then imagine getting pulled back, right? Really hard, right? So that's basically what's happening on these plays. Like, look at IMPX right now. IMPX just got halted on the downside. So any play that kind of starts looking a little promising, what happens? Any play that starts looking a little promising, we're getting whiplashed. So you got to be careful on what you're going to be getting involved with. If that's IMPX, whiplashed. People that got in on APEX too high, whiplashed. People who bought in on CANF at $4, whiplashed. Right? So we're seeing a lot of people hopping on these plays, lean forward really hard in your chair, and then imagine getting thrown back. Right? So this is a little bit nerve wracking behind these stocks. Yep, hold it on the downside now. Let's see, WRX, nothing there yet. I mean, it's creeping. WRX is trying to creep. I'm still gonna watch this one. I think maybe it could slowly grind its way on up, slowly get a little bit of potential towards it. See if this one can creep its way on up and get any sort of ripping and running. And the only reason, again, I like WRX, I understand volume's low, but maybe it can run into it because it actually has a contract press release behind it. Because again, Apex didn't have a contract or any sort of reasoning. That was just a little bit more of a pump and dump. We had IMPX, which was a bounce play. I understand it had a reverse stock split, came flying back on down. You guys can see this was right at pre-market highs as well, right? You guys can see this, red line right across the board. That was right at pre-market highs. And then we also had APO or APOP, APOP. That stock, look at this, quick morning spike, whiplash back on down. So these have been the top plays. I'm going to turn off pre-market for the moment just so we have a little bit of a better understanding of what we have. Also, $5 is a nice support line on APOP. Not going to lie, you may be able to see a little bit of a bounce play over on APOP at that $5 mark, especially if you can hold it on up. If you have some extra funds laying around in your account, may want to look at maybe like an APOP bounce. You may be able to get $5 back up towards around like 560, right? So APOP, I would still be watching for the $5 bounce. I just want to type out a quick little watch list for you guys right here. We have APOP, $5 bounce support. We have IMPX, stay away, dumping from hitting pre-market highs. And then we have APEX, which was a pump and dump as this stock had no news, no filing, and no gap up. I would say WORX still has potential in my eyes. So I've been kind of just waiting to see if WRX is going to be able to do anything. Just a little heads up as well. I'm not in on WRX. I don't want you to think I'm like, oh, WRX, yeah, this one's gonna be good, 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 and I'm not in on WRX at all. So I just think this one has potential in case it, ever did start moving its way on up and starting to get a little bit of volume. Probably that play WRX would be if it could ever break through probably that 340-ish mark. If it could break through 340, we should probably be able to see up towards around 420 if people do start flying in on this play. So yeah, exactly. Rapid, same exact thought process. 200-day moving average if that thing ever started breaking. All right, so WRX starting to come down a little bit. We'll keep that on the bottom level too, just in case that gets any sort of volume. Right now, I'm staying smart, staying smart. Apex dropped on down. No sort of volume is back towards that play. What the heck even happened with Apex? Who started that pump? What the heck is out there? Bet you if we do a little stack Twitch or Twitter research, we'll be able to find it. Right? Sometimes that happens. People just jump in on plays just because other people are jumping on it. It's the penny stock world, guys, does sometimes turn into an absolute frenzy where it's someone says they want something and everyone just wants it, right? One person says they want to get involved with it and then everybody gets involved with it, right? IMPX starting to go even lower at this time. IMPX getting even lower at this time. Not much there on IMPX. So that's starting to drop on off. Look at that. IMPX getting crushed. This is so far a day of seeing some spikes and then some shorts coming right back on down. PIR trying to get a little bit of a dead cat bounce. GRTX, newer IPO. GRTX, little newer IPO, 7 million in float. That is a weird little thing, AK. You are seeing all the stocks that end with X. APEX, INPX, LMPX. Look at LMPX trying to come back up towards around $30. Let's see, I'm waiting for one to catch fire. I just want to see what one catch fire. Trade Life APX broke $1 and then the 50-day moving average and a low float. That's why I had eyes on it. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, definitely good reasons why. I mean, I understand, break through the $1 mark and, the 50-day moving average. But I mean, there are just a lot of plays out there that kind of have similar setups, which don't go on hard as rips. I'm sure there's some sort of group out there that kind of started APEX where it went on that nice rip, and that's why it's coming back down just where it started. Right now, APOP, that's even cracking through that $5 mark. So I would probably say, let's keep our eyes peeled on LMPX to see if that could maybe come back on up. LMPX to maybe that $30 mark. Maybe that rebreak of $30, we could start seeing some volume and some action. And I don't want to keep my eyes off WORX. I know I've been saying it since 9:15 this morning, WORX, but I think it's got potential. You're my boy, WORX. Don't let me down. Right? You're my boy. So we'll see if that one could possibly go on any sort of spike, throughout the day. See if that one could possibly get any sort of ripping and running. Right now, it does not have the volume yet. It would probably come through, I would think, at like the break of 335 to 340. I think that stock could, possibly get a little bit of volume. But I'm looking at LMPX, WORX, and just seeing where that hype could be at. Right now, nothing really moving on the high of the day momentum scanner. Little side note, in about 45 minutes from now, guys, in about 45 minutes, um, we are going to be doing a lesson on a few different things. We are going to be doing a lesson on a trading plan. We're going to be doing a lesson on a 2-to-1 ratio, and we're also going to kind of go into a brief little lesson on scaling. So if we don't see any sort of big time spike or rip, I don't care. I am going to be doing a lesson. I am not here to sit around and waste your time. I am here to invest your time, right? Oh, some stock trading puns. You're on your game today, Deck. So what we have right now, we don't have any sort of anything that's spiking at this moment. Can we see one? Absolutely. But I want to make sure if we don't, or even after we trade, I'm making sure that every day is productive here. I don't want you guys sitting around and doing nothing. It's time to work. So 2020, this is going to be our biggest year ever. As you guys know, it's time to work. So we're going to make sure that every morning and every afternoon we are staying productive and doing some sort of lesson, even on the slower times. So we still got about 45 minutes until this morning market kind of starts slowing down, and then we'll get into our lesson. But not doing that now. Just a heads up that what's coming on up. Trading plan, 2-to-1 ratio, and a little bit of scaling. All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you, White Diamond. Appreciate it. Right now, WORX. Keep that one on watch. That one coming on up a little bit. Kind of like WRX kind of looks like an ugly bull flag pattern right now. Little side note as well, I am not in on this play. I do not want you guys to think I am in on this play. I am not at this time. But if I start seeing some volume, I will again pull the trigger on it. I know Rapid's still over on APA. APA, slow and steady little runner. Again, Rapid was the one who absolutely destroyed it last week and made an $80,000 gain. So, that was absolutely insane. Love seeing those massive gains. Love seeing those massive rips. There's, so inspiring and so motivating, kind of get you going, saying, wow, if one person can do it, then I can do it, right? Someone else can do it, then I can do it. And that's what, a lot of it comes down to. A lot of people don't believe in themselves until they see what someone else can do. And that's part of, why people get involved in the stock market. You see other people, making big time money. You start saying to yourself, why can't I be that person? Right. And that's one of the things that I said when I first started trading. When I first started trading, I saw a whole bunch of people, of course, living the life that I wanted to. I remember being a little kid and going on vacation, and I used to look at these huge houses. You guys ever go on like vacation down like Florida, Boca Raton, something like crazy, and you just see these huge houses, and you just say to yourself, how the heck do people afford that stuff? Right? I don't understand how people can buy, a $10 million, $20 million house that is absolutely looking like a hotel. How are people affording to buy, supercars? How are people affording to do all this? And I used to just be so, stumped on how people used to make this money, right? And then you figure out different ways on how people are able to grow and how people are able to, get success over time. Now, the biggest thing to really understand is, to be able to buy, that super, car that you want or that super house that you want, it takes time. It does not happen in a year. These are years of saving up before, again, you're able to make that purchase. But of course, you want to have the job that is going to give you that salary to be able to purchase those type of items in one day. But seeing other people be able to do it, it's inspiring. Seeing other people be able to make it, it's inspiring, right? I used to just want to talk to people who were super successful, people who had nice things. And again, as you kind of make a lot of money, nice things kind of get away from you. You don't really care about them as much. But whenever someone used to come up, who had a lot of money, I'd be like, hey, what do you do? Can I talk to you for a little bit? I'm just so eager to learn from you, on how you made it, right? And that's part about being in the stock market and being surrounded by myself or Rapid or Iggy or whoever. It's great to again, be around of people who know what they're doing and stay motivated constantly. So again, seeing a huge gain like an $80,000 gain, it's awesome. It's remarkable. It gets you motivated, puts a little fire underneath you, and want you keep making more and more. What do we got? DFFN. And DFFN's only been about 3 cents. Well, it's only been a 3 cent move. We do got a nice little squeeze pattern. Do have a nice little squeeze pattern. APOP starting to curl a little bit. And the good thing about APOP is that we know it's going to have volume. That's the good thing about APOP. Is like we know it's going to have volume. Number one thing to do. I don't even want to put it yet. What should we look at on APOP? Someone tell me before I put it on. What's the number one thing we should look at on APOP to help us know if the stock's going to break out? Very easy indicator. We all know it. We all love it. It rhymes with CWAP. VWAP. There we go. I'm pretty sure the rhyming game, would help you guys out there. It rhymes with GGOP. Okay. What do we have here? We got VWAP, right? Once we add the VWAP towards this play, we know when the stock is from bullish to bearish. So if you guys are saying APOP, I'm really liking this play. All right, I definitely see what you guys are liking as well. That it's starting to come back on up. But where does it go? Bullish to bearish at the break of the V, or bearish to bullish at the break of that 560 mark. So the break of 560 is where that stock could start getting some nice momentum. It seems like WORX is starting to come on down. We tried. I loved you, WRX. I gave you a chance, baby. I wanted to see if you were going to make any sort of move. I put your name out there and nothing. So no WORX as of now. No WORX as of now. Maybe in the future. What do we have on LMPX? Anything? LMPX starting to get a little bit of a break. So we do have LMPX a little bit more expensive, a little bit more pricey. Not as many orders, but trying. APOP is still on. Let's see here. I'm going to do something that may confuse you guys a little bit. It shouldn't confuse most of you guys, but so we know we have a clear-cut downtrend, right? I'm just going to talk a little out loud right here. So we know we have a clear-cut downtrend on APOP, right? And I'm going to turn this right here, turn this into our red because we know that's a downtrend. We just connect the dots a little off, make that a little better. Okay, cool. So here's our downtrend, and we know that we broke the downtrend. So now that we broke the downtrend, now we could possibly, right, be forming an uptrend. Because when we crack an uptrend, right, we form a downtrend. Just like when we crack a downtrend, we form an uptrend. So now our new trend line, if it can hold, of course, is going to be looking like that. Right? So where can we look for a possible bounce play? Probably back down towards around 510. Now, if it does bounce at this trend line, that's a great sign because that means we are truly reversing. Then also to do that, we're going to have our support line. I'm going to make this a little bit different right there. Bada boom and beautiful. So that's kind of what we're seeing at this moment. We have $5 support, right? But we also have, of course, like these two trend lines. And I'll just leave those up right now to kind of make it very easy for you to understand. Right? So we kind of crack this downtrend. Now we're moving up here. So bounce play on APOP would be back down towards around this 510 mark. We still have 560 as our top resistance line. And then LMPX is starting to heat up a little bit. So LMPX still starting to heat on up a little bit. As this stock is starting to move, VWAP is down towards around $28 on it. So APOP is starting to get a little bit more volume, and LMPX starting to get a little bit more volume. So APOP at this time, watch that possible bounce play. TNXP actually just came on up. TNXP, first time it just hit its high of the day. TNXP just came up on the breakout scanner, so that just actually broke above that 50-day moving average. And I know we're still looking at the only play that we honestly have had that's been like kind of considered a breakout today has been APEX. APEX was a breakout during the actual market hours, and then APOP was again the big time breakout in pre-market. If we look, of course, back in pre-market, APOP was a monster. This stock went from $3, spiked all the way up to $8. Then it fell back on down towards around $5. Now it's currently at around this 526. We need to break through, right? We need to break through this VWAP mark to get this stock going again. And if we can, break through that VWAP mark, if we can start seeing a little bit more action, that's where the stock could really go on a nice move, possibly back up towards, $6 or so. Right now, though, it's still beneath its VWAP, and we're going to see if it can hold, maybe get a bounce on this trend line, as that could be a great sign of strength. SDC. SDC, I like a little bit of that possible red to green move coming. It's going to have to get back above $10. $10 is going to be a little tricky, though. Little sign of TNXP, guys, starting to heat up. Let's put TNXP on the bottom level, too. This is 716,000 in float. TNXP, if this starts breaking $2, TNXP may try to start getting some volume towards it. So look at this. TNXP, guys, 716,000 in float. This stock did have a gap up this morning. Now, TNXP, what was the gap up? The gap up wasn't really anything significant at all, to be honest. Okay, it talked about having a showcase coming on up. If it does break $2, though, TNXP could possibly just get that fire behind it. We've seen that happen a lot, where the stocks, just get that fire, just get that activity, just get that volume. So right now, it's definitely trying to slowly move on up. All eyes start shifting over to TNXP. As it's definitely trying to move on up a little bit right here. It's still rather early. 195. It looks like it's going to break. I mean, we have been seeing a lot of holds as well. We've been seeing a lot of holds as well on these plays. We have again right now TNXP starting to steal the volume, $2 resistance. All eyes are here. Watch for a $2 break or a possible entry. So we're not missing anything. Anytime a play starts coming on up, we're ready for it, right? Anytime a play starts, coming on up, we are 100% ready for it. T Farm, little heads up, you're over in a talk chat. Jason, little heads up, you're over in alerts chat. That's what I meant. So again, guys, make sure you look at the top of your chat room. If you notice not too many people are talking in it, you're probably over in alerts chat. So right now, TNXP, we're still trying to see if this play is going to be able to go on up. Right now, SDC through $10, slowly trying to move on up. SDC slowly trying to move on up. Not bad. LMPX trying to hold that $30 mark. It's kind of a little sporadic, right? We got TNXP trying to steal the volume. We have LMPX right now, just an IPO play looking to break through $30. We have APOP, which we're still keeping on our back burner list in case this could ever come on up and break through that VWAP line, right? We've had a pump and dump over on APEX so far. We had WORX that we watched that never got any sort of spike towards it. So it's been a little bit all over the place right here. We'll still keep our eyes on TNXP, but I'm also a little side note. Keep my eyes over on APOP as well to see if that trend line's going to hold. Right now we're about to test that trend line. Let's see if that trend line holds. If we can start breaking up to 560 of that VWAP area, things could start definitely looking a lot better for this play. So I am going to put APOP on the bottom level too, just because I don't want you guys to forget about that one. That is the number one top gainer of the day. Obviously we are red right now. Obviously we are having some trouble, but if this stock ever started, moving its way on up, we could definitely see some attention. TNXP has, volume right around this $2 mark, but it has not broken it yet. And usually when stocks do break out, they don't usually get stalled at the very first little resistance line, right? This is the first resistance line and the stock's getting stalled at. So that's kind of, showing what? If the stock can't break through $2, that's definitely showing a little bit of hesitant in the market, right? We're definitely seeing a little bit of hesitation from traders hopping in on TNXP. Some people are saying, "Oh, let's go, let's break this thing out, let's go on a massive move here," and other traders are saying, "I don't really know right now. I think it would be better. I think it would be a little bit smarter if we, didn't buy at that $2 mark." And that's why it's not just purely breaking $2, right? Right now, we do have TNXP coming up towards around that $2 mark. How's APOP doing? Is APOP's right on that trend line right now. So APOP is actually right on the trend line right now. We're going to keep that on the bottom level too to see if that can hold on up. Break of the VWAP of 560. Things could definitely get interested there. Again, CNF, unless CNF breaks through $4, but right now a little bit light, right? We're just seeing that's kind of how this morning has been, right? It's like we have TNXP trying to break through $2, but it's not 100% there yet. We had CNF that tried to break through $4, it just couldn't. We had WRX that tried to break through 330, it just couldn't. We had APEX that's been a pump and dump so far. We had A-Pop, which is a stock that just, dropped off at the start of the day after, gapping on up, right? TNXP, let's see what happens here, guys. What do we have? LMPX. LMPX, not bad. LMPX is still holding its gains, though. So LMPX is still holding its gains. Right now, again, TNXP, we just have a mixed amount of traders. Some people are saying, oh, I want to break out. Other traders saying, I don't really think it's going to happen. And that's why we haven't seen the kaboom, right? And that's what we want to see. We want to see the kaboom on plays. We want to see plays basically spike hard out of nowhere and just keep on going and ripping and running. And that's why TNXP right now, testing that $2 mark, is having a little bit of trouble. I think, again, APOP could be a good option if this stock can hold. Maybe bounce off that, trend line, start working its way back up to the VWAP. Bounce off the trend line, work its way back up to the VWAP. I know you guys already know, but on February 3rd, about 2.5 weeks from now, about 3 weeks from now, that is when my $100,000 account starts. Okay, so February 3rd is when my $100,000 account starts, and I'll be working and trading that up to $1 million. A CMR, nice little uptrend, for you mid-cap players. TNXP still fighting that $2 mark. Got to be careful there. I'm honestly kind of, me personally, looking at back over on APOP. I want to see if anything crazy is going to happen on APOP. You guys kind of know what we're looking for on that trend line. Right now, all volume has kind of died off on APOP. Now, whenever you see this, whenever you see kind of all volume just all of a sudden start dying on off, usually either two things are going to happen. We either see a very kind of random big time spike, or we see the stock come crashing down. Just a little heads up there. So over on APOP right now, let's keep this play on watch, because probably within the next 5 minutes, something's going to happen. If that's either a random spike on up really hard, or it's going to come crashing on down whenever you start getting like very low on volume. And you can even see like at the volume at the bottom of the chart right here, it's starting to like die on off. And usually when this happens, all of a sudden you're going to see a big time crack, like a big time crack, or you all of a sudden see a big time, rip on up. It happens a good amount. So let's see if that happens again, coming on up. So that's something I am focusing on. TNXP still having trouble right at that $2 mark. APOP starting to arch its way back on down slightly. I was hoping we just see that big time spike. Starting to arch its way down a little bit. TNXP still fighting. TNXP still trying to fight. Still have TNXP trying to fight its way on up. This is an under 1 million in float stock. I want this thing exploding, right? I want this thing exploding in a hard manner. It's trying. It's trying. APOP. Come on, buddy. Come on, APOP. What do we have here? Everyone, let's look at the top gainers of the day. Everyone, we're going to look at the top gainers of the day, see what we have. Number 1, APEX. Do we want to get in on APX? No. Right? We don't want to get in on APX. We don't need to get in on this play. This is not a stock that we need to get too involved with over on APEX. TNXP. This play. Do we want to watch TNXP? Yes. TNXP is the play we want to watch. TNXP is the play we want to focus on. TNXP is a play that will be in play as long as it holds $2. As long as it holds this line right here, this $2 mark, this stock is considered in play. It is considered active. And again, as long as it holds $2, it most likely is going to have volume. HUSA, 60 million in float, most likely not going to happen. ADXS has been red today underneath the 200-day moving average. SCLB, nice little uptrend, but there really is not much volume. But still, again, if you nailed it perfectly, you've been able to make a profit. ESTR, no volume, nothing on this play. TRIL, nothing I'm really seeing there. CLUB, a little bit bigger at 25 million in float, but this stock has been a little consistent. And also, again, breaking its 200-day moving average, that could definitely lead to maybe a small swing, right? A small swing could happen. UUU, nothing. TNXP still fighting. TNXP is where people are still looking at. And then I would really go A pop as the play we want. But it's kind of like yesterday. What was the play yesterday that faded off all day? Oh, LIFE, right? LIFE. I just want to show you guys something real quick. If we look on LIFE, what can we see here? Even though we wanted this play to spike, we saw that LIFE throughout the whole entire day, it did have a downtrend. And again, we have to be smart here. And we can't just say to ourselves, oh, come on, please spike, please spike, please spike, right? The stock has had a downtrend throughout the whole entire day. So let's take a little screenshot of this, right? There's a little screenshot of it. And let's go back to APOP. And so far today, to be completely honest, again, we have had lower lows form, right? Throughout this day so far, we have had these lower lows form. And they are only getting lower at this time, right? So if we look at these two plays and kind of compare the two, this is the top gainer today, APOP. This was the top gainer yesterday on the bottom. Top gainer today, top gainer yesterday were what happened, right? Each one, they look pretty similar. They look pretty similar as they both have these downtrends. And as badly as we want to be able to play this stock, unless it A is able to break the downtrend and then B is able to break the VWAP, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So we need this play to be able to break through that VWAP if we want to get involved with it, right? And that's on APOP. And if it doesn't, again, it's just going to turn out like LIFE. LIFE, what do we have? Big gap up, big red day to a red day. APOP, big gap up, looking for this stock. This stock is turning back to a red day. So, notice how I'm comparing, right? Notice how I'm comparing these two plays. Notice how I'm comparing the stock so you guys have a great understanding of it. And that's why I think it's very important to try to be here as much as you guys can. Because if you guys are here as much as you can, you guys start picking up on these little things, right? You start saying, wait a minute, APOP, that looks a lot, right? APOP, that reminds me a lot of what